Hey guys, Harris here, and the iPhone 6 really was the biggest change to the iPhone since the iPhone. A complete design overhaul and a thinner and lighter body with a bigger screen. It made a big difference in the iPhone game. But Apple just released the iPhone 6s, almost identical looking, but with a few new key features. Is the iPhone 6s worth the extra money? So speaking of money, let's get that out of the way first. The iPhone 6 comes in only silver and space gray and 16 and 64 gigabytes for $549 and $649 respectively. The 6s comes in silver, space gray, gold, and rose gold, and 16, 64, and 128 gig options starting at $649. So on the outside, the only visual difference you'll find is the S below the iPhone on the 6s, and that's really it. If you pick it up, you will notice another difference. The iPhone 6s is 0.2 millimeters thicker and 14 grams heavier. Don't get carried away by the numbers, it's not a huge difference, but I'm not going to say it isn't noticeable, because for me, it definitely is noticeable. I noticed both it being thicker and heavier, especially after using my iPhone 6 for so long. Going back to the 6 makes it feel so thin and so light, and I pick up the 6s and it does feel pretty dense. Some people may like that, I personally don't, so I was disappointed to see that it's thicker and heavier than the iPhone 6. But the 6s is made out of a new material called 7000 series aluminum, which essentially means it should be stronger and more durable and less prone to bending, although the iPhone 6 never really had that problem to begin with, but it's good to see that it is a stronger material. So on the inside we have a few changes. As with any new iPhone, it gets the newest processor, an updated camera, and that one special feature. And that one special feature on the 6s is 3D Touch. 3D Touch, for those that don't know, is a type of technology inside the screen or under the screen that can differentiate between different levels of pressure that you put on the screen. For example, a normal tap would open the camera, press harder, and you get a menu. The only practical uses I've found of 3D Touch so far is the keyboard and multitasking. Everything else is just somewhat gimmicky, or just not that useful. But the more developers take use of 3D Touch in their app, the cooler and more powerful your iPhone 6s will become. So developers, this is in your hands, but as of right now, I think 3D Touch is a very cool technology, but it certainly hasn't blown me away, and I don't think it's a reason to upgrade to the 6s over the 6, although definitely is one benefit of having a 6s. Other differences in the software would be things like saying "Hey Siri" to activate Siri without your phone being plugged in, like it is on the 6. But the biggest and most apparent difference for me between these two phones is the speed. The 6s is rocking the Apple A9 and M9 chips with double the RAM at 2 gigabytes, and this thing is fast. I'd venture to say it's the fastest and smoothest phone on the market. I see this the most in two areas, Safari and Touch ID. I made a video on Touch ID showing the speed, and you can check that out in the description, but it's crazy fast on the 6s. In fact, you don't even have to hold your finger down on the fingerprint sensor, you kind of just tap it, and it goes automatically in like a split second. It's very, very fast. The 6 is definitely not as fast. Touch ID is a little bit annoying on the 6, not terrible, still fast, but nowhere near the 6s. The second place you can see the speed, and really this is more a testament to the RAM, is in Safari. I will reference iDownload blog on this one, but the extra RAM means pages won't have to reload every time you go to them. Because of the RAM, pages will stay open, apps will stay open, and they won't have to refresh as much, meaning you'll just have a much faster and smoother experience on the 6s than the 6, and this is definitely noticeable. So really the last difference would be the camera, or the cameras. On the front we have a new 5 megapixel front facing camera compared to the 1.2 megapixel on the 6. It still only records 720p video, but now incorporates retina flash, or just a front facing flash. This allows for much better nighttime shots using the 6s, not to mention higher resolution shots, so if you use the front facing camera a lot, this will be a big difference. But the bigger difference would be in the rear camera. Up from 8 megapixels to 12 megapixels, the 6s brings higher resolution, improved low light, better panorama, and 4K video at 30 frames per second. The iPhone 6's camera is still plenty quality for me, and I wasn't really expecting too much out of the 6s camera, but I've really been blown away. The thing I see the most is just the pure resolution. The video is fantastic, the time lapses look so much better than the 6, the slow-mo is better, everything is just sharper and crisper, and it's awesome. Low light is improved, flash is improved, and pretty much everything about the camera is just a little bit better. I'm not a huge camera guy, like I said. I'd be perfectly happy with the iPhone 6 camera, but for someone that takes cameras and photos and videos seriously, the iPhone 6s is definitely a good place to look at, so I was really impressed with the camera on the iPhone 6s. Also on the iPhone 6s is live photos, which takes shots before and after you hit the shutter button, and stitches them together in a short sequence with audio. I don't really see the point in this, and it's something I won't be using, but it is a cool feature nonetheless, and I think some people will take a liking to it. Even though the iPhone 6s has a smaller battery than the iPhone 6, battery life has been about the same, which is to say not that great. It typically does not get me through a full day, which consists of taking it off the charger at 7 a.m. and then usually having to put it back on the charger at around 5 or 6 p.m. on an average day. But in terms of the 6s versus the 6, battery life is about the same. There are also smaller differences like the new Taptic engine on the 6S, which means vibrations are much softer and quieter, which can be a pro and a con, and there are also faster LTE and Wi-Fi speeds. So at the end of the day, the iPhone 6S is a thicker and heavier iPhone 6, with a fantastic camera and fantastic performance. It is the cool feature of 3D Touch and live photos, but those are both features I could live without. Touch ID is essentially perfected, but battery life still has much to improve. It's a great phone, and if you're looking for the best iPhone, this is certainly it. If you're considering this over the iPhone 6, well, consider the price, consider the colors, and consider the size configuration options, and then consider, do you need 3D Touch and do you need the best camera on the market, or do you need one of the best on the market? They're both fantastic phones, but it's really hard to recommend the iPhone 6s over the iPhone 6 if you're on the fence. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.